Kusasangpo and a very warm welcome to Bhutan This Week. I am Melam Cho and our top stories. His Majesty the King graced the closing ceremony of the Camp Raven, a royal initiative to keep the students engaged. Samchi becomes the first Dzongkhag to sign a charter to regulate the proper management of funds for conducting Melam Cho. And the opposition leader Dr. Melam Cho clarifies elections-related rumors while on his tour. His Majesty the King graced the closing ceremony of Camp Raven. Camp Raven is the initiative of His Majesty to give children of the 3 armed force personnel in Thimphu to spend their winter vacation productively.
His Majesty the King granted an audience to over 500 participants during the closing of Camp Raven. During the month-long camp, the students attended talks with resource persons from diverse fields. They took part in different activities like cleaning campaign, learning arts, Tiglam Namja, and dance, among others.
Team 강제배로 락제배로 대신나 진에게 냠용알 메시션이라 다 명화가 되는 뭐 세계가 레벨 디즘 거급 나베들로 나라게 거급 디즘디 린들로 남심에 잠보 메시
내가 지르기 팀 코퍼레이션 수가티베 벤나 알루스 데와가티베 탑나 할음 펜투 중에서 슌웨나 안 벤디게 다 슈맘 디나가 조인 벤이기레와 있어 슌웨나.
The camp was held at RBA, RBP and RBG headquarters. The students competed against each other in different sporting activities. The winners got a rare opportunity today to receive grand prizes in presence of His Majesty the King. The winners of basketball and football were rewarded a free air trip to Bumta for pilgrimage. The runners-up were rewarded 5-day free trip to Finsling, and 5 students with outstanding overall performance were given scholarships. The Camp Raven, initiated in 2012, is being organized by the Royal Secretariat every year. Chetan Dupchu, PBS News.
One of the highlights during the 5th Melam Cho in Samchi was the signing of a Melam Cho Charter. It is the guidelines to monitor the funds and spending of the money in the most judicious and transparent manner during the conduct of annual Melam Cho.
Samchi becomes the first Dzongkhag in the country to sign a charter that will regulate the proper management of funds meant for conducting the Melam Cho. It was signed by the executive committee members of the Melam Cho yesterday with blessings from His Holiness the J. Kempo. Titled as Melam Cho Charter, the new guidelines focus mainly on the spending and accountability of funds raised or donated for the ceremony. It also restricts the spending of funds on activities that do not relate to the Melam Cho. Under the charter, the funds are subjected to the auditing, which will be done by an independent body or royal audit authority, whichever is deemed necessary. According to the Samchi Zongda, the whole idea of putting guidelines is to set an example to ensure transparency and accountability in conducting Melam Cho. He said there is high risk of misusing funds in absence of such a mechanism. For Sonam Phunso in Samchi, Sonam Wongdi, PBS News.
Speaking to the people of Lower King in Shemgang, the opposition leader Dr. Melam Cho said His Majesty the King has commanded that the members of the political parties clarify the rumors. According to the opposition leader, His Majesty has said that some people in some of the places still talk about the DPD or the opposition party being disliked by the King. Dr. Melam Cho told the locals there that His Majesty the King said he does not differentiate between the political parties.
The opposition leader told the gathering that His Majesty said he is the king and the head of the state and he does not have to interfere with political parties.
인드라비로 아니송기 로지 대산에 라루나 랍통에갈래 이따마디 tinigi 냥하두 아니디 독셀 베니디 흰사사 존이디 저라 시속기 뒤미디슬로 갱구 포마레스 나히야카나이 세슈닐라 인드라비로 마시기 다주기 톨레디 대슈니디 슈이 데미세 라루기디 마세메세 슈닐라 아니디 마팔레라 독바다 대좀 깨니라 명세 슈닐라 명하다 림보시 있음이디 나치라 지수 분하기 인다이 세슈니라 안 된디기 나치라기 시소기 텔레베로다 가치기 텔레베로다 데 마발레라 데디 나치라기 순디기 분 마파 순이 명어서 슈니라.
The opposition leader urged the gathering to refrain from spreading and being part of rumors which would cause a rift in the community. Dr. Melam Cho finished his tour in the east and is now in Jamgang to review the implementation of policies and planned activities. Compiled for Pema Samdrup Taralimbu for BBS News.
Be aware of where you dump your waste now. Thimphu Chomde has installed CCTV cameras to monitor the illegal dumping of waste in the town. The cameras have been installed for over 2 weeks now.
An employee of the Thimphu Chomde monitors the footages. These are the pictures from Oloka and truck parking area. The officials can now easily inspect the city from their office. The cameras can rotate and zoom to help get a clear picture of the site. It is on a trial basis, but if it is successful, more cameras will be installed across the city.
With that initiation of the CCTV, especially in Olaka and Telecom, I think waste dumping has really stopped. Before the installation of CCTV, Olaka has become literally a small landfill. And we have been cleaning on a monthly basis, but we could not apprehend because we don't have evidence. And we see a lot of waste are being thrown in that area.
But now, people can be easily penalized for violating the rule. Currently, CCTV cameras are installed in Oloka and Kunsel Fodrang. As per the Waste Prevention and Management Regulation 2012, those found dumping waste in places other than approved site will be fined 500 Nutum. And for dumping waste into the streams, rivers, drainage system or other water bodies, the penalty is 1000 Nutum. People can also complain if they see anyone illegally dumping their waste, as 50% of the amount collected from the offenders will be given to the informants. Illegal dumping of waste has always been a big challenge for Thimphu Chomde. Thimphu produces 22 truckloads of waste every day. But now, this new initiative could be the ultimate answer to the problem. Sringde Morgalson, BBS News.
None of the forensic report that comes out of the country is definite. The forensic unit in Thimphu says about 60% of the results are deduced based on physical injuries and the result for the rest are not known at all. Forensic unit says poor forensic result is because of lack of equipment. The unit could only provide probable results for the 28 bodies and 34 alleged rape cases that they received last year.
This is the forensic unit at the National Hospital.
Except for some furniture, there is nothing in this lab. The lab doesn't have the very equipment required to solve legal problems and carry out criminal investigations.
The unit requires equipment for autopsy, toxicological analysis, and CT scan.
안에 디수기 데 코드 디수 제 미니디게 땡아치기 미시시우 디수 잭잡달로 땡아치기 날에 도도리리베 미디 아니기베 신우 미디 양진 세셉 임베 양진 코라기 뉴스 라렌 탑디 시슈 임베 양진 코라 창다디 시슈 임베 양진 코라기 뷰디 액시덴탈 살라메 몰라 아니베 뷰디 시슈 임베 데 양진 코리 네지기 시슈 임베세 디 도도리리 까니 슈미시벨 데 딜레 텐디 땡아치기 다리나 다리 순수행아치기 미시시우디수 딱시 베루라 데 다투 로마 팀송가바다 딜렌야 팀카노로 데 콩디술로 펜토비기 데 아니 좀 아치기 리포트 지 년주지 데 레준베 피마 섭세슈니라.
In the absence of forensic equipment, doctors sometimes had to resort to assuming results.
아네베 베이골렌데 로야 팀칸달레다 텔레마 팀송가발레 쿤디수기데 미시메딜루 데 쿤디수가 지베시시위나 데미 팀포바진 팀포비기 님지다 데 팀마 포바진 팀메 포베세 나치기 가네 슈마신디기 데 나치기 계합 놀려데 로 아니 미시미 딜루 토비기 저스티스 몰라 단된 데딜은 미 다루 지 아니베 미시누 아니기 세셉 임베살라 와진 데디에 테레파리 세셉 이나메나 몰라 따고 봐 디즈메 가지기 다투 테레파리 아니 가네베 마시바 데루야 단팀 렌디 디수기 카툴레드로 따마도 아스리 텐도 몽상하기.
By assuming, especially in dealing with the criminal cases, getting justice is often out of question. Police say due to lack of forensic equipment in the country, they have to depend on other countries to get the report, which takes almost half a year. By then, justice gets delayed.
Dr. Nobu also said proper investigation could not be carried out into the cause of the death of a 26-year-old radio jockey earlier this month. Tamchuzam, BBS News.
Compared to 2014, Paro and Ha recorded a significant drop in sandalwood smuggling cases last year. Officials attribute this to strict vigilance and penalties.
Both the Dzongkhaks recorded its highest sandalwood smuggling cases in 2014. While Paro saw 19 such cases, Ha recorded 5. Last year, the figures dropped to 5 for Paro and 1 for Ha. Chief Forestry Officer Kakatsring says strict patrolling and tip-off have played a significant role in intercepting the illegal practice. Moreover, such cases are now forwarded to the court.
Since last year, as per the order from our department, we have started forwarding the case to the court. Even if the people involved pay the penalty, we already have 9 ongoing cases in the court.
Since 2011, 42 cases of sandalwood smuggling were recorded in the 2 Dzongkhaks. The seizure was worth over 18 million Nutum. Kakatsring added, following theft attempts, respective forest range offices no longer keep the seized wood in their store.
People have tried to steal them. We had 2 such cases in 2014. One was in Paro and the other in Ha. However, they were not successful.
For this year, no such cases have been reported so far. Smuggling of sandalwood has been one of the biggest challenges for forestry officials in Paro and Ha. Compiled for Isha Galsen, Sringdama Galsen, BBS News.
Most taxi drivers are not happy with the Road Safety and Transport Authority's new rule for operating taxis in Thimphu and Phuntsholing. As per the rule, taxis registered in other Dzongkhaks will not be allowed to operate as local taxis in these 2 towns.
With the new rule, taxis registered outside Thimphu and Phuntsholing can only pick or drop passengers from or to these 2 destinations.
There is no equity and justice. Taxi operators from Thimphu and Phuntsholing can operate in other places, while other taxis are not permitted to operate in these 2 cities.
PT 5로 4로 나온 배다 아니 다마 좀미디다 자염다 당대지 미조에 스노메라.
It will affect the relationship among taxi operators. For instance, when taxis from Thimphu or Phuntsholing or Paro come and drive around in Wandi, then obviously those in Wandi will raise the issue.
To implement this change, all taxis are required to prominently carry on their flanks the name of the Dzongkhak where they are registered.
Why we put Thimphu Dzongkha or Paro Dzongkha is we wanted to identify the taxis of their place of working. So we'll identify that, and that is done because we wanted the taxi from other places not to come to Thimphu and Phuntsholing because Thimphu, Phuntsholing are already congested. And then why other taxis are not coming to Thimphu is because we wanted to reduce the congestion in Thimphu. But Thimphu taxi going to Wangdi, Paro, they can go, they can operate. There is no restriction placed by our regulation.
However, the objective to reduce traffic congestion has not gone well with some taxi drivers.
Regarding
the traffic congestion, we cannot solve this problem by only reducing the number of taxis. I think the issue of congestion occurred after lifting the ban on import of cars recently.
The new rule will come into effect from next month. Sonam Singh, BBS News.
Similarly, taxi drivers in Punakha cry foul over having to paint the name of their dzongkhag of registration on either side of their car. Initially, the RSTA allowed them to use stickers for the purpose, but not anymore.
Taxi drivers said they have already written their dzongkhag of registration on their flanks using stickers, and now having it replaced with painted names is not only a hassle but a pocket burner as well. Taxi drivers say the painting works would cost them 650 ngitam.
When I initially registered my taxi, I was told to paste a sticker of my dzongkhag of registration on the door. And recently, when I went to renew my vehicle documents, the RSTA official said we have to paint it. It's extra expense for us. Keeping it as it is would be more convenient.
If you have to paint, then it's going to cost us extra. Moreover, just in case we privatize our car, then we will have to repaint the whole door. I think using stickers would be better for us once the permit to operate as a taxi is over. We can remove it easily, whereas the paint is permanent.
When I registered my taxi, the officials told me to go for a sticker, and now they want us to paint it. It's a double expenditure for us.
RST officials said in the past a few taxi drivers, although by rule they were not allowed to operate as a local taxi in Thimphu and Phinsoling, did so by removing the stickers. Therefore, having to paint their dzongkhag of registration was one of the means to curb such practices. The rule was implemented from January this year. For Chonidema in Punakha, Sonamongdi, BBS News.
Prime Minister Sring Topge promised to send additional power tillers to Trimshing and Gangpa Gyeoks in Trashigang. The two Gyeoks received one power tiller each only last year, even though the government has been distributing for the last 31 years.
Trimshing Gyeok has only one power tiller distributed by the government last year. Not even a single individual owns a power tiller in the Gyeok. During a meeting with the people, Prime Minister Sring Topge assured to send two more power tillers to Trimshing Gyeok.
che nalu power tiller chigel hab meble tendi gibe te jobara chi tangeme te che na power tiller tomi te operator yobachin te dauchi gi nangkinara chi tange te operator mebachin te operator chi jobara jongdar beshimle jongdar besau chi tange se shunime ani dauchi gi nangkinalu chi tange te tuchi loju maduigale taruchi tange se shuni jungi genkhudi power tiller tani chegi genkhudi lamlu da tidigi be lejimbe te yokigo se shuni.
Similarly, Gangpar Gyeok will receive one power tiller.
Te ngachi chiuk ngai la na Gangpar Gyeok la ani beodolo te chiuk china gobachin te china tap la.
Currently, we have only one power tiller here and it is not enough. We have 5 Gyeoks here and during the farming season, there is shortage of power tillers as every Gyeok wants power tiller. But what we are now happy about is the Prime Minister is going to send us another power tiller by the end of this year. We are also happy to know that in a couple of years, every Gyeok will receive a power tiller each.
The government would be eventually distributing a power tiller each to all the Gyeoks by next year. Compiled for Pemanamge in Kanglum, Pemal Haden for BBS News.
The decline in the number of black-necked cranes arriving in Chumi Gyeok in Bumthang has left the locals concerned. Locals say there is a need for some serious conservation and protection programs to be put into place for the endangered bird.
5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10.
According to records maintained by Chumi Range Office, only 16 black-necked cranes arrived in Chumi in November last year. However, in 2014, the Gyeok saw 22 birds. Locals attributed the decline due to the ongoing construction works in the Gyeok.
Various construction machines and loud noise from the machines disturbs the birds' habitat. Sometimes stray dogs bark and chase the birds away.
The Forest Range Office in Chumi has been continuously monitoring the cranes in the Gyeok. Steps are being taken to conserve the black-necked crane and to encourage more birds to arrive in future. However, the range office feels more needs to be done.
ngachi na chumina zum tibojindi royally RSPN group ki ombina awareness program public lu khong recently and binola tele ngachi khatoli betu biro ngachi mi ani
A group of officials from the RSPN recently conducted awareness program here in Chume. From our side too, while we go for patrolling, we tell people not to disturb the birds. Another reason I think is that most people are now converting paddy fields into dry land, which affects the roosting ground for the birds.
feeding di chidi and paddy field na lefa beumula and be the convert gara convert be and be the assi tombe tem da khong chidi ania as effect jones no mila.
The birds actually arrive in November for winter roosting, and after staying for 5 months, they migrate back to Tibet for their summer habitat. For Kamal Kharka in Bumtang, Namgye Wangchuk, BBS News. Based on a legend, a comic titled Gaba, the Attendant, was launched in Thimphu. The 100-page book is the first of its kind in the country.
Gab, the Attendant, is based on the legend Gab Lungi Kholo, a man who had the power to travel at the speed of wind. Initiated by Thimphu Comics, it is a production of a group of artists and illustrators.
The story goes from there that Gab Lungi Kholo, he was one of the famous messenger of the Penlop. From that we made a fictional thing, event unfolding in the comic book. We have his childhood, we have his love story there, and his career, how he started as a beggar from there.
This comic is scripted both in Dzongkha and English, targeting all ages in the society. It took 2 years to complete. There are also plans to work on more series with the same character, and if all fares well, even animate the comic. Sonam Penjo, BBS News.
Well, that's all we have for this week. Join us next week, same time and same channel. Thank you for now.